Filip Hrgovic continues to play mind games with Moses Itauma. According to Filip, Moses Itauma has been overhyped. Now, before I play this video, I keep asking myself this question. Is Filip Hrgovic trying to convince himself that he's better than Moses Itauma, or does Filip Hrgovic believes that he's actually better than Moses Itauma? Like, is Filip trying to psych himself up for this fight, or does he really think that he's in the head of Moses Itauma? Now, guys, I'd love to hear what you think about that, because so far, with the different interviews that Filip has been having, he's been saying a lot of things about Moses Itauma. So get in the comment section and actually let me know what you think about this. Is Filip actually psyching himself up, or does he really genuinely believe that he's got Moses Itauma's number because of his experience? Now, let's watch this video and then we can break this down further.
Yeah, they hype him a lot. He definitely got, talent and some qualities, and he's big puncher and quick heavyweight, but definitely it's much more, in my opinion, than he deserves. I learned to when it's hard, to don't give up, to fight back, and to endure everything on my way to the win. So I had hard path outside of the ring and in the ring, and a lot of hard fights, a lot of challenges, a lot of tough rounds. It make you stronger person, stronger will, and it just built me. I think it just built me different than him. I feel like when it's compared to my career, he's got everything on the table, and it's different.
Look, Filip Hrgovic continues to sort of undermine Moses Itauma and the journey that Moses Itauma has had. And I think there's a lot to unpack in this video. So I'm going to try my best and sort of talk about the things that Filip is trying to say here. So he's saying that outside of the ring and inside of the ring, he's been through a lot of things that he believes that Moses Itauma has not been through. And look, Moses Itauma is a young fighter. He's coming up in the game. But one thing we know is that Moses Itauma is very, very talented. And he's shown that so far in his career that he's one of the best fighters we have currently in the heavyweight division, and definitely one of the most talented fighters that we've seen in a very long time in the heavyweight division. That is not a made-up thing. Moses Itauma has shown that when he's fought at his level, he's performed better than every opposition that they've put in front of him. So Moses Itauma's story is not done yet. Filip Hrgovic is much more experienced than Moses Itauma. So whether it is in the ring or outside of the ring, it is clear that Filip Hrgovic has more experience, or maybe has gone through tougher things than Itauma. Number one, because of his age, and number two, because of his experience in boxing. But that does not mean that because of that reason that Filip Hrgovic is going to beat Moses Itauma. That is not the case at all. I mean, look at Mike Tyson. When he was coming up, he was knocking out almost everybody that he faced in the ring, and Mike Tyson was a young man coming up, and he was beating all the fighters that have had experience outside of the ring and also inside of the ring. But what sets Mike Tyson apart from his opponent is that Mike Tyson was just super talented, had incredible power, incredible speed, and was just coming for the heavyweight crown. And that reminds me of Moses Itauma. Itauma is blowing people out of the ring. He's blowing people's head off, not because he's got some incredible experience outside of the ring or inside of the ring. What Itauma is doing is pure talent and just the ability and the hunger to become the best in the division. So when Filip Hrgovic talks about, he's been through a lot outside of the ring and inside of the ring, I don't think that makes any difference. On the night, under the bright light, at the O2 Arena, I don't think it makes much difference in this fight. I think Itauma is going to fight his best. I think Filip is going to bring his best. I think the deciding factor in this fight is going to be the skills. I think experience is going to play a part, but Itauma has certain skills that cancels out experience, which is speed, power, boxing ability, ring IQ, and just, the ability to stay in there and stay competitive. Some of these attributes, they cancel out experience, because power is always going to be dangerous when you have it, and when you know how to use it, plus speed, that is a dangerous combination, and that is something that Moses Itauma has. So I don't think that Filip Hrgovic, having these experiences outside of the ring and having been through a lot in life, I don't think is going to make much of a difference on the night in the ring. And then Filip Hrgovic also talks about the fact that the British media have been overhyping Moses Itauma. You know, Filip talks about Itauma has been overhyped, and he says in his interview that he doesn't think that Itauma is deserving of the hype that he's getting from the British public, like from the British media. And the thing is, it is not Itauma's fault that he's been hyped up. You know, like, it's not. Itauma is just a young fighter coming up. And as I said, because of his skill set and his ability to win fights and blow fighters out of there, he's getting that notoriety because of that skill set. It's not because Itauma has achieved a lot, because it's very clear that Itauma hasn't really achieved much in his career. Itauma is still young, but the hype comes because he's a British fighter and also because he has a lot of knockouts. And that reminds some people of Mike Tyson. Not that Itauma is on Mike Tyson's level, because we don't know where his career is heading. But so far, what he's showing that he can beat everyone in the ring. Now, Filip Hrgovic is his biggest test so far in his career, and he has to pass that with flying colours. And Filip wants to do his best to get under Moses Itauma's skin, get into his head, and make him feel like he's just being overhyped, make him feel like he's gotten everything on a silver platter, and he has had to work hard for the victories and the opportunities that he's got in boxing. And he's right. Filip is right. Like, I can't take that from him. He's absolutely right when he says in this interview that, you know, Itauma has got a lot given to him. Absolutely. Once again, that's because of the British media backing. Signed to Frank Warren in Britain, the biggest boxing country in the world. So it is natural that Itauma is going to get that push and that, you know, sort of social media attention on him. But it is not Itauma's fault. If Filip Hrgovic is thinking this is the reason why he's going to beat Itauma, then he's getting it all wrong. He needs to think about his skill set, the game plan, the problems that Itauma is going to bring. How can he overcome that? I think him thinking that he's been through a lot outside of the ring and inside of the ring, and Itauma has got things given to him on a silver platter, and therefore he's going to beat Itauma, I think is the wrong way to think about this fight. And look, it is not a new thing with Filip. I remember going into the Daniel Dubois fight, Filip Hrgovic had a lot to say about Daniel Dubois' mentality and, you know, his mental fortitude when things get hard in a ring. And Filip talked about the fact that, you know, in sparring, he had the better of Daniel Dubois. You know, Filip talked a lot about Daniel Dubois' mentality, and he was 100% sure he was going to beat Daniel Dubois. Filip was absolutely sure that he was going to beat Daniel Dubois. And then, of course, we saw what happened in that fight. Now, Filip had early success, and people would argue that Daniel Dubois used a lot of headbutts to open Filip's eye. And that is true, and that could be true. But in the end, Daniel Dubois was victorious and Filip wasn't. So Filip Hrgovic can say a lot of things, but I feel like he needs to focus on the game plan. He needs to focus on the problem that is in front of him on the night, in the ring, and not so much of the backstory of Moses Itauma. Because the truth is that Moses Itauma doesn't have much of a backstory. I remember Dillian Whyte at some point tried to get into Moses Itauma's head during fight week, and I don't think that helped, because as you guys know, we all saw what happened in this fight. Dillian Whyte got blown out in one round. So I don't think that trying to get into Moses Itauma's head and bring in his story, I don't think that helps at all. I don't think it helps his opponent. I don't think it really affects Moses Itauma in any way. I think Moses Itauma is just ready to fight. I think he's just ready to conquer the world and win a world title. And Filip Hrgovic has some advantages in this fight that he can use to beat Itauma, and that is his experience, and that's the fact that he can take a shot, and that's the fact that he's resilient. If I was Filip, I'll be focusing more on my advantages and the way I'm going to beat Moses Itauma inside of the ring, rather than thinking about his backstory and why I have gone through difficult things outside of the ring to beat Moses Itauma. But guys, get in the comment section and let me know what you think about Filip Hrgovic continuously trying to get into Moses Itauma's head, talking about things that I don't personally believe is going to play any part in the way this fight plays out. Get in the comment section and let me know what you think about it.